Oh, hello, everybody. I am Paul Jarvis, and I am joined, as always, by my co-founder, Jack Ellis. This is the Above Board podcast from Fathom Analytics. It has been a while, but we are back in your ears. Hello, hello, hello. How's it going, sir?
It's going wonderful. How about you?
Not too bad. Yeah. Just waiting for Apple products to arrive at my house. As usual.
That's the story, yeah. What have you got coming?
A new monitor that's been in customs for a week and a half, which seems weird because I've never had any Apple products get stuck in customs, nor has anybody that I know had Apple products get stuck in customs, but I don't know. I guess you can't predict what customs is going to keep or not keep for indefinite periods of time.
Yeah, well, absolutely. I mean, for all you know, someone could have smuggled some cocaine in there and God knows what and trying to get it through, to the delivery driver.
Exactly. I don't know what I would like. I don't know what to do with cocaine. Like if I got if I got a monitor full of it, like I don't know. Do you plant it? Otherwise, I have no idea.
You plant it, yeah. That's exactly it. Yeah, all the powder in the ground.
All the rabbits are just running around like fucking crazy.
Oh my God. Anyway, we've been away for a while. We've been away for 4 months, I think, maybe a little bit longer. Lots has happened. People have been in touch saying, "Where's the podcast?" I mean, realistically, we have just been really busy and trying to work on various things, and we've done a bunch of stuff since the last episode. I mean, in terms of where we've been nowhere. We've been here. We just haven't recorded a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So let's definitely do an update and talk about what's happened. First of all, let's go to the huge project that you did, which was the brand new website. The new website has been seen by thousands, tens of thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people at this point.
Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic. I mean, the copywriting is just, it's a masterclass in how to write copy on a website. This is me commenting on your work. I'm not just bigging myself up. I think it's really good, and other people have said to me in person that they took a lot from it. Why did we do a new marketing website, and then can we talk about how we built it? So let's start off with why and how it's changed.
Yeah, I mean, I think the why is that it was needed. The marketing site previous to this one was based on a software product that only had a handful of features, right? I don't remember the last time. Was it V2 that we redid the website?
I think so. Yeah.
So it's been years. And it's sometimes, it makes sense sometimes to just keep updating what you've got. But then at a certain point, it's just like, well, shit, there's so much that needs updating and so many things. And even just like, and we'll get into it, but like the way the site was built, we've learned a lot about how we want to build out our static site for our marketing website. So a lot of the back-end stuff has changed as well. And even just the way that we like make templates and make partials for templates and that sort of thing. So there's quite a bit. But we also, or I also, mostly me, just wanted to give the brand a bit of a refresh. Like I think our brand has always been pretty strong, people know who we are. People get like a vibe from our software, from our marketing site, from our Twitter, from all of that. And we do, I think, not to pat ourselves on the back, but I think we do a pretty good job with brand. But the website wasn't really, it just didn't look as good as I know I can design or as I know I can write. So yeah, I just wanted to start from scratch. And we have, and we'll get into this a bit later too, but we have a new kind of brand and UI for our application that we're working on currently. And so I wanted the marketing site to kind of more reflect where the brand is going instead of where the brand was. And yeah, like I enjoy writing marketing content. Like that's kind of a weird thing to like, but that's one of my favorite things, like is doing that sort of writing. So just going back and rereading and looking at everything we had ever written for Fathom and thinking, okay, well, how can this be different? How can this be better? How can this be clear? And now that we have, years of talking to thousands of customers about analytics. What have we learned from that? What have we learned from the way people talk, the way people describe things, adding all of that kind of into the copy. We've got some amazing customers now. So we've added a lot more customers to the site. We've added a lot more testimonials to the site. And some SEO stuff, right? Like we need to compete in search engines a little bit. So doing some things to make our SEO a bit better and to make us appear more for people who are looking to switch to a better analytics product, more or less.
The website also became even more important because of the new wave of opportunity that's come in because people are completely disengaged with GA4. Google has launched some awful products in its time. GA4 is just atrocious unless you're an expert. And I have noticed that the people that want to spend hundreds of hours or however long it would take to master the product, they're fine with it, right? They're happy to do it, and then they can get paid for their knowledge to be able to read basic data. The people who just want to focus on running their website, monitor marketing campaigns, that sort of thing, who don't want to spend hundreds of hours learning, they're the ones that are angry. Mm-hmm. And I tweeted the other day, I said, every time we have to debug something with a GA import, so GA breaks or something goes wrong, or they've got the data incorrectly in Google Analytics, we have to then go into the customer's account and debug it. It's so hard to use. My background is analytics. I know all the terms and everything else. But just to find the most basic report, it's hard. So we now have this new wave of opportunity, and the website was timed perfectly with this and all the SEO work, and it's really hit well. But if you go to usefathom.com, the first thing you'll notice is how fast it is. That's because it's actually a static website with continuous integration on GitHub Actions. We build it all. Every time it gets deployed to GitHub, everything gets built and converted to a static site, deployed to S3. And then we actually run all of the redirects are done at CloudFront level. So CloudFront is distributed globally, so everything gets cached locally. We effectively have the Fathom website. I wouldn't say it's deployed all over the world, but if someone from Canada goes on it now, let's imagine Vancouver, someone goes on it. If another person in Vancouver goes on it, it's then cached in CloudFront. And I'm explaining CDNs to developers, but some people don't understand how CDNs work, and that's fair enough. But people say, why is it so fast? This is ridiculous. Static website. So I'd love to talk about the tech stack, and I'd love to start off with what it's built on. And then as we get to the end of that, I'd love to talk about how we've deployed it to make it really fast and some of the specifics.
Yeah. Let's get into it.
So what did you build it on? Is it just HTML files?
Yeah, so I FTP into the server and upload HTML. Yes. Oh, the good old days. The end. Yeah, no, we built this on Jigsaw. Again, it was built using Jigsaw, which is, I guess, a Laravel static site CMS by Titan. Yeah. So, it works using Blade files basically, and it's easy. Like I'm not a back-end developer, and I can easily create themes, create templates, create content really easy. And then, like you said, I just push it to GitHub. GitHub runs those actions and pushes it out live, which is actually really fast too. I thought when we were first building it, I was like, this is like getting the actions to start and finish. But you actually did a bunch of stuff in that too. So it only compiles what it needs to compile, which makes a huge difference.
Yeah, there are trade-offs with this because we couldn't work with the last modified because it gets rebuilt every deployment. So I did have to implement something where the synchronization of the assets or the compiled site and the assets to S3 is done on size difference. AKA, has the size changed? If it has, we then will sync it over. The downside of that is if you make a change that doesn't change the size of the file, it won't get synced over. And I think being aware of that, when you do changes, you'll do them and you'll make sure that they get deployed. Like the alternative is we sync everything every time, or we come up with some kind of cached solution where we try and commit stuff to Git. It gets quite complex, and I just didn't think it was worth it for the amount of changes that we make. And I guess now you know that if something isn't synced, that's probably because I need to add in a random. Like you might have to change it significantly and change it back, and it can get fiddly, but the trade-off is worth it to have such fast deployment for the majority of the work we do.
Yeah, I think that's only happened once out of probably 2 or 500 commit, like hundreds of commits has happened one time. So
And the big latency actually with the deployment now, and we'll talk about the tech stacks. We talked about S3, Amazon S3, which is just static files. We have a custom JSON file, I believe it's JSON, and that handles both wildcard mapping and just regular mapping for route redirects. So if your page, if the path name changes, you can redirect it. I'm pretty sure we do the wildcards in the URL as well. Either that or we do them in S3. I want to say we do them at CloudFront level. And we do some other rewrites. Me and you both don't want the trailing slash in the URL, so we remove that,
yeah,
which is a funny one. So CloudFront actually handles it through CloudFront key values. It handles the redirects using CloudFront functions. And it adds a tiny bit of latency onto the website, but it's honestly worth it. And we have one of the fastest, this sounds so grandiose, but we do have one of the fastest websites in the world, and it's because of how we deployed it.
yeah.
And I am going to be writing a blog post about the nerdy details at some point. It's just really a case of balancing out what I'm spending my time on, but I hope to write that soon enough.
Nice.
But yeah, that's the new website, and it's been fantastic. I mean, the testimonials on there are really cool. Yeah, we got some really cool customers. I mean, you look at their logos on there. Can you imagine? Just go back in time and just think, wow, this is surreal to even have these people using us. These are huge companies or just important companies. It is definitely
it's pretty awesome.
Beautiful.
I guess the changelog was one of the bigger changes too. So we turned the changelog from just like bullet points of this is what we do to now they're almost like blog posts, I guess. They've got like a nice graphic for each of them, for at least the new ones. I didn't go back in time and do all the old ones, but like from November onwards, they all have kind of like a story and a graphic and more of like a, I guess, blog layout and style to them, which I think is pretty cool. Like, I think that a lot of times people care about that kind of thing. Like, they care about what's been updated, what's been changed, why it's been changed, and all of that. So I think having a much better changelog is important.
No, absolutely. And actually, let's talk about this. So in terms of changes and what's happening, the theme of today really is how we're focusing on version 4, the road to V4. And me and Paul were talking before recording and trying to remember how much we've spoken about V4. I think until now, I think we've talked out. I don't know if we have actually. I'm not even sure. So let's just pretend we haven't, because I don't think we have. Paul's redesigned Fathom from the ground up to do way more things. We have a complete new UI, UX, tied in more of the marketing side, and we've been building out this new version. The biggest thing we've had to do recently, and this is where I want to talk about different things you do when you're a small team. We can't focus on complex projects within the existing software if we're trying to significantly refactor it. It doesn't make sense that we've got one thing over here taking up huge mental bandwidth and then trying to do things like rewrite the authentication to support teams when there's no team functionality from the start. And the developers listening will understand adding teams after you already have established auth versus just having teams from the start, even if you don't use them. It's a headache. But trying to do these high mental bandwidth tasks side by side and the context switching, it just doesn't really work. And for some people, it might. And I think one of the things I want to talk about today, I'll talk about it now since we're there, is just knowing your strengths when building software. Are you a person that has to have so many different contexts to kind of hop between? Or are you someone that is more one thing at a time and focused? And I know for me, I hate having so many things on the go, because each of those, every time I merge something, right, the first thing I'm thinking about is security. I don't want anything to get exposed or anything to go wrong. So I can't just casually skim through pull requests. I have to make sure that they're really, really solid. And if they're not, then I have to go back with feedback, right? And that could then delay something. That could then delay that pull request if something else has already been worked on. So then we don't get back to that, and then something else that's new comes in, and then there might be feedback on that. And this doesn't always happen, but we're trying to juggle way too much, which is what was happening. And then so for V4, we've had to completely switch that up and focus in on nothing else. We have effectively, I think, do you want to talk about some of the new kind of principles we came up with focusing in on V4? I mean, okay, so, all right. Well, basically, we've effectively said that if we've got edge cases, so imagine there's a customer. We have thousands and thousands and thousands of customers. So this is one customer out of all of these customers. If that customer has an edge case, in the past, we have put this into our system. And if it's blocking them in some way, like it's actually causing problems. So imagine we've had a silly example. One customer was importing from Google Analytics, but over the history of their account in GA, they had done this weird thing where they were overwriting how the host name and path name worked. So when we pulled in the path name, it included the host name. And to be clear, the host name would be like usefathom.com, but then that would be in the path name. And so we thought, okay, well, we can definitely refactor. We can definitely modify our import to make that work. And that took a few things, and then we broke something, had to fix it, and that sort of thing. This was for one customer. The rest of our customers didn't benefit. And so we've effectively landed on this position where if there are edge cases that that just aren't affecting more than, say, what do you say, 10, 20 people? I mean, I don't know what a number is, maybe 15 people.
Yeah.
If it's not affecting a substantial amount of our customers, we effectively say we can't do anything about that. And that's an intentional kind of apology and position, because we just don't have the resources to be able to put out fires that aren't happening to everyone, that aren't our fault. Now, comparatively, we had a situation where email reports had just been growing so substantially, and they were out of control, because it's a good problem to have, right? We grow and we have bigger sites, and the email reports we send out weekly and monthly were running into problems, and we had to fix them. That was affecting everyone. Yeah, and that's the beauty of it. You grow, which is great, but then you have all kinds of issues and email reports. Think about every single email report is a job which runs in the background and then is querying the database to get aggregate data, often concurrently. And we really had to dial that in and make it work. And that was a clear case of, okay, we have to fix this because it's affecting every single customer, because most customers are using email reports. Well, okay, no, most customers are using email reports, actually. Mm-hmm. I think that's fair to say. It's hard to keep up these days, but so we fixed that. But we have said, I think the current guidance is, if we can't fix a problem, like an edge case problem, just say that to the customer. We haven't got to fix everything. The cost of trying to fix everything is so substantial, and the mental load it has is too much. I'd be starting this week with, I've got 3 or 4 other projects over here in addition to working on version 4. What is the biggest priority for the product and for our customers? They want various things, and we have solved literally every problem in version 4. That is the focus. Version 4 affects everyone in such a positive way. We should not be focusing on the edge case pieces. And that has really helped a lot. Observing the effects of that have been substantial. And yeah, we're chugging along on version 4, and it feels really good. But I think small teams, you have to do that. You have to be focused.
Yeah, even if it's just temporarily, even if it's like, because once we have V4 out, as things come up after that, then we can, I don't think it makes sense to just do big projects and not focus on that. So temporarily it makes, and I agree, it makes 100% sense. It took me a while to get there. I got there.
The temporary prioritization. Yeah. Cause you could not run a business like, oh no, we're not going to deal with any small things that come up because it has to be a big project. No, we'll never do that. We're in agreement on that. Yeah. I think V4 is such a big refactor. Think about how much stuff you've changed because the software's changed, and the teams alone was a huge piece. But we just have so much going on that stuff will not move forward unless we really focus on it. The team is too small. The alternative is we try and hire a bigger team, which you absolutely can do, but then you're managing more people. And, I've said to you, I don't want to be promoted out of programming. Yeah. This is a lifestyle business, and I don't think that's the insult it used to be. Do you remember when lifestyle business, you're just running a lifestyle business?
People insulted me like that all the time.
Yeah. So I think lifestyle business is awesome. So yeah. But that's an intentional decision that we've made given our team size, and I think it's great.
Yep. Yeah.
I want to talk about the new ingest before we wrap up as well.
Sure.
For those who haven't seen it, who aren't on Twitter or X, we have also prototyped a new ingest system, which is globally deployed, meaning I think it's fair to say it's probably going to be the fastest. I don't know what Google does, right? When I say, will it be faster than Google? I don't know. Google probably has global deployment. I would hope so, but it's going to be let's Google aside, let's say, it's going to be the fastest analytics ingest in the world. Probably faster than Google. Let's be real here, actually. And
Google obviously doesn't give a shit about their analytics because they keep killing it off and making it worse.
Oh man, yeah. I don't even know what they're doing, but it's going to be super fast and it's going to be super scalable. I mean, it already is, and I've spoken with the team at Amazon, and they're very excited about how we're building it, and it's just going to be surreal. That's all I'll say. So we are ready for the new wave of growth. If you're listening and you work at a company with lots of traffic, we're already pretty much ready for you. I mean, we did land we had a large international coffee chain using us for something, and that was an interesting test. But that was a lot of traffic. But version 4 though, it's not going to be any modifications. It's just going to be, if we're say for example someone joins and they've got 10 billion requests a day or something, we're going to, if we needed to scale up for that, we just change a setting. That's it. Like, it's going to be beautiful. And we're simplifying ingest, and really, we're actually in the stage where we're doing what big companies do. And even though we're not a big company, we do some of our analytics is equivalent to a big company. So we're doing big company stuff, which is really fun.
Yep.
And new ingest is awesome. So yeah, that's really where we are. We could talk about the V4 features. I think as we do this podcast, me and Paul have just been speaking about the schedule and how we're going to do it. I think we can definitely share what is happening in V4, but we'll really see where this goes. I think we can share the process, and it's hard when we're not shipping the stuff, right? When it's happening in the background.
Yeah.
So that's the update, people. That's where we are.
Cool. Yeah. Thanks for listening. Thanks for letting us back into your podcast queue. We will be back much sooner than this last 18-year break that we had.